Hello everybody, and welcome back to the Time's Ticking YouTube channel. My name is Jake, for those of you who don't know me, and today's video is going to be a special one, especially for me, as this will be the last video I'm going to be making for Time's Ticking. So I decided to make something that I've been wanting to create for a very long time. My top 3 favorite watches of all time that I have researched and discovered over the past 4 years of creating videos for you guys. So, without further ado, please like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you want to see more. Let's run the intro and start talking about my favorite watches. So, to get started, let's talk about my all-time favorite watch, the Omega Constellation Deluxe. Back in 1948, Omega celebrated their 100 years of history by releasing their centenary chronometer watch, the company's first automatic chronometer grade watch. There were only 6,000 of these watches created. Because of the high praise and demand for the centenary, Omega answered the call with continued excellence, and thus Omega's first Constellation was born in 1952. There have been numerous models of the Constellation released over the years, yet as most Omega aficionados can agree, the golden age for these models were in the 50s and 60s, which is when my favorite model was born, the reference 14393. One of the most standout features about this watch is the beautiful pie-pan dial, an iconic design for the series, along with the arrowhead indices and the crosshairs placed beautifully to line up with the corners of the pie-pan. The way all these features come together in unity and harmony to complement each other is the reason this is, in my opinion, one of the cleanest and most satisfying to look at watch dials ever created. Now, I've always been a sucker for unique and limited edition case backs, which brings me to one of my favorite aspects for these watches. The Geneva Observatory is stamped onto the backs of each case, which is a tradition that continues to this day, and was another key aspect in naming the Constellation, of course. The observatory's presence on the back of the 1952 Constellations was meant to imply the scientific accuracy of their caliber 35X bumper-driven movements. Beyond accuracy, each Constellation went through rigorous physical testing against the elements before being released to the public. The Constellation series has always symbolized Omega's crowning achievements, from anniversaries to mechanical innovation. And even though this timepiece is often overshadowed by models that landed themselves on the moon, or onto the big screen, this is my all-time favorite watch, and I hope to add one to my collection someday. So, on to my number 2, the Bulova Accutron Spaceview Model 214. The story of this watch begins in 1953, when Max Hetzel invented the first ever tuning fork system. However, it wasn't until 1959 that William O. Bennett, an American engineer working for Bulova, developed the caliber 214, the first ever tuning fork movement. The 214 was the first wristwatch to employ a transistor. It lacked a hand-setting crown on the side of the watch. It made a strange humming sound and was very accurate. The Accutron Spaceview, with the revolutionary 214 tuning fork movement, launched in 14K gold and was originally made for merchants eager to offer an eye-catcher in their displays. But the watch was so popular that the merchants were selling the display models to avoid losing business. The window model was so popular that Bulova decided to produce it for retail. Unlike the standard models, the Spaceview came with an open dial that showed the tuning fork and other technical parts. The brand's logo and indexes were printed on the inner side of the mineral glass crystal. Their advertising campaign at the time praised its 99.9977% precision, along with the slogan, "The watch that hums." What I love most about this watch, however, besides its impressive and influential history and the fact that it hums, which is so cool, is how futuristic the watch looks, which was indicative of the space age at the time. While the watch isn't the prettiest timepiece to ever grace the market, it does possess an artistic flair that can't be found anywhere else. Now, for my third favorite watch, I'd like to at least include one world timer timepiece. And although there are several models that I love and adore, there is one particular piece that stands out among the others, and I think you would definitely agree. The world timer we're going to look at is from the company who is well known for producing the world's first world timer wristwatch. Although the Patek Philippe reference 2523 isn't the world's first world timer, it was designed and personally modified by Louis Cartier. the inventor of the world time system, and is one of the most sought after, unobtainable, attractive, and fabled timepieces in the world. It's believed that only 11 of these rare models are known to have been made by Patek Philippe. 5 feature North America, 3 with South America, and 3 Europe and Asia. Aesthetically, this watch is a spectacle to say the least. The dial design is complex for sure, but it's laid out in such a manner that it really is both beautiful and functional. The mix of Roman numerals and stick markers is a pleasing touch, and the polychrome cloisonné enamel center in marine blue, gold, green, and turquoise is an eye-catcher for sure. One of these breathtaking timepieces sold at auction in May of 2021 for a record-breaking $7.8 million US. So it was nearly impossible for me to narrow down my top 3 favorite watches of all time, so I'm deciding to add a couple of honorable mentions. So these honorable mentions include the Omega Seamaster Aqua Terra World Timer Limited Edition in Platinum. This was actually the first world timer I fell in love with and has a special place in my heart. The second honorable mention is the original Omega Speedmaster that made it to the moon, because duh, it went to the moon. And the last honorable mention is an oddball from the Seiko and Naruto collaboration, the limited edition Gara watch. Because yes, I am a huge fan of Naruto, and the design of this watch is well thought out. The contrast of the colors sand brown, red, and black complement each other so well. And that concludes the list of my top favorite watches of all time. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you down in the comments below telling me what you think of my dream collection. And on a final note, I do want to say how grateful and honored I am that I've been able to make videos for time-sticking in this community for so long. You guys are so awesome, and I have learned so much about timepieces and about the horological industry in its entirety. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm pretty sure I want to live in Switzerland now. And on that note, I'm going to leave you with the last French pronunciation I think I'll ever try to attempt. Au revoir.